Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from 5th group of modern literature class. In this video, we would like to explain our criticism regarding a literary research article. I'm NURUL RAMADHAN, and I'm going to tell you the introduction and the overview of this research. Our group chosen the journal titled The Power of Hegemonic Classes in Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby by Hasnul Insani Johar from Universitas Islam Negeri Syarif Hidayatullah, Jakarta. The name of academic journal is Alturas, Volume 19, Number 2, July 2013. This journal discussed the literary work The Great Gatsby by Scott Fitzgerald. In the Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby, there is a new money named J. Gatsby, live in West Egg, struggle to compete with the aristocratic groups, represented by Tom Buchanan, live in East Egg. Tom is always the winner because he comes from the aristocratic groups, whose prestigious and class family. Therefore, Gatsby always loses compete against Tom no matter how hard Gatsby tries. The objective of this journal is to analyze, using cultural studies, Antonio Gramsci's Hegemony, Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby in order to come to some conclusion about depictions of aristocratic classes and powers in order to dominate powerless groups.
My name is FAIQOTUL FAHRIYAH, so I will explain the reason why our group chose this journal. The reason why our group chose this journal entitled Power of Hegemonic Classes in F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby is because the issues discussed in the journal are quite interesting, namely the power of hegemonic class. It is about the domination of the aristocratic class and the MUAWANA class in American society in the Great Gatsby novel. This issue is in the mainstream. There are still few journals that discuss the power of hegemonic class in American culture in the 20th century. Because many journals were only discussed about materialism, American dream, and other issues that are commonly raised.
Hello, I am SITI MUAWANA, and now I would like to explain about the strength of this paper. The strength of Hasnul Insani Johar's paper about the power of hegemonic classes in F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby is the novelty of theories and findings. Because the topic was quite anti-mainstream, or it can be said that it is a new topic for us. Usually, The Great Gatsby's analysis use a lot of topics about American dream and the materialism. Then now this topic is talk about the hegemonic culture of aristocratic groups over the moneyed groups, even though they are equally rich, but they are in different classes. Where the aristocratic groups is a group of rich people who come from noble families, prestigious and blue blood families who are already rich descendants, while the moneyed group is a group of common people get to be rich people. More precisely, they are a group of rich people with various dirty work ways to get to rich. In addition, there are various theories used by the writer in this paper, which made this paper have a broad perspective on this topic. The theories which used are the theories of Karl Marx, Gramsci, Beuka, Hoffman, Carrel, and so on. Many theories were taken by the writer will be easier ways for readers to understand about the hegemonic topics.
I am ANDINI FITRIA. In this part, I'm going to explain about the weaknesses of this paper. In spite of the strengths that have been mentioned earlier, this paper still has some weaknesses concerning the arguments and the quotations. So, Some arguments found in this paper are often weak and unclear. For instance, the part where the researcher explains about how Tom discredits Gatsby for his dirty business is not elaborated with any further and stronger explanation. It is written that the part shows that position and social status are more powerful than money because no one can discredit Tom, who is an aristocratic person, the way he does to Gatsby, who is not an aristocratic person. However, in fact, Gatsby loses his respected status because his wealth is revealed to be the outcome of a dirty business, not because he isn't an aristocratic person. So, if Gatsby is not involved in a dirty business, Tom may not be able to discredit him in such a way. Thus, this paper should provide another perspective and possibility which can help strengthen the arguments. The other weakness is about the quotations. Some of the quotations in this paper also don't support the analysis. For example, the paper describes that Tom manipulates George Wilson and the police after the accident by saying, "That yellow car I was driving this afternoon wasn't mine. Do you hear?" In fact, the quotation only shows how Tom provides a truthful testimony. The researcher should put the quotation where Tom convinces George and the police that Gatsby is the culprit of the accidents.
My name is NOVITA and I would like to give suggestion and conclusion of this academic journal. The suggestion: this research can be a reference for further researchers who want to conduct a similar strategy as in this research. It would be better to give some strong and clear arguments and should provide another perspective and possibility which can help strengthen the arguments. Besides, further researchers should put quotes for several scenes. And the conclusion, based on our discussion of Hasanul Insani Johar's academic journal entitled The Power of Hegemonic Classes in F. Scott Fitzgerald, The Great Gatsby, the strength is novelty of the theory and the finding. Because the topic was quite anti-mainstream for us, or it can be that is a new topic. This topic talk about the hegemonic culture of aristocratic group over the moneyed group, even though they are equally rich, but they are in different classes. And in addition, there are various theories used by the author in this academic journal, which made this paper have a broad perspective on the topic. The theories which used are the theory of Gramsci, Karl Marx, Hoffman, Luca, Karel, and so on. Many theories were taken by the writer will be easier ways for reader to understand this hegemonic topic. And the weaknesses, some arguments found in this academic journal often weak and unclear. For instance, the academic journal described that Tom manipulates George Wilson and the police after the accident by saying that yellow car I was driving this afternoon wasn't mine. Do you hear? In fact, the quotation only shows how Tom provides a truthful testimony. The researcher should put the quotation where Tom convinced George and the police that Gatsby is the culprit of the accident. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.